Hey everyone, welcome back to Lavendaire. Today I want to share a really fun concept based on numerology on how to find your purpose in life and also the purpose of your year. So yes, there are different themes and purposes of each year in your life. Let me start with that because that is like my favorite concept in numerology. So the concept is called personal year cycles. Each year you have a different personal year number, and the year begins and ends on your birthday each year, and there are a total of 9 years in a cycle. So there are 9 single digits that you will go through. Each digit means a different theme, a different purpose for your year. And once you finish the 9 years, then you start a new cycle. You start back at 1. So in order to figure out what your personal year number is, you want to add up the digits of your birth date and then the year that we are in. So if you are born on May 21st, and the year is 2020, you would add up 5 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0 for 2020. Those digits add up to 12, and then you would add those 2 digits again so that you boil it down to a single digit number. So 1 plus 2 equals 3, and so you would be in year 3 of your 9-year personal year cycle. Since my birthday just passed, it was on October 21st, I just entered year 8 out of my personal year cycle. So I'll explain what each year means. But before I do that, I want you guys to do the quick calculation. Comment down below, what is your personal year number? What year are you in this 9-year cycle? All right, I'm gonna give a rundown of what each year means in the personal year cycle. I'll also have a blog post linked down below so you can reference it easier. So if you are in personal year 1, then that means the theme of your year is new beginnings, independence, starting something new, initiation. It is the beginning, literally. 1 is where it all begins. This is the year that you are planting seeds for your future. Personal year 2 is all about patience and love. So this is the year where you will be slowing down and focusing more on patience, your emotions, and your relationships. Personal year 3 is all about creativity and self-improvement. So this is a year where things will get more creative. Things like communication and creativity are more supported, and you'll find that things are easier in those realms. And in general, this is a year that's a little more fun, that's more focused on growth. Personal year 4 is all about hard work and long-term goals. So after you have a really fun, light, and creative year 3, year 4 is all about buckling down, getting more serious, becoming methodical towards your goals, really just working hard, sharpening your skill sets, those types of activities. Personal year 5 is all about freedom and change. So this is the year where things are going to change up a lot quicker. I find that personal year 5s are really, really fun because I like change and excitement and spontaneity. So you have to be prepared for some uncertainty this year, but all in all, it's really fun. Personal year 6 is all about responsibility and relationships. So this is a year where you're more devoted to your home, your family, and the relationships in your life. It's a time for you to nurture yourself and nurture those around you. And it's all about the home, going inward, those types of activities. Personal year 7 is all about spiritual development and doing the inner work. So this is a year where you really get spiritual. You tap into something beyond yourself. It's a year for deep contemplation, reflection, gathering knowledge and information. You might feel your faith being tested this year. It's a year for you to connect with a deeper knowing and higher purpose, whatever that means to you. Personal year 8 is all about empowerment and finances. This is a year where you focus more on money, finances, and your personal power. So it's all about developing the skills to be a confident CEO of your life. This is your year to find your sense of empowerment because you just came out of that deep, spiritual, reflective year 7. And these last 3 years of the cycle, 7, 8, 9, are really a 3-year period where you're kind of gearing up and preparing for the next 9-year cycle of your life. So you really kind of wrap things up in these last 3 years. Personal year 9 is all about letting go and completions. So this is the final year in your 9-year cycles, and year 9 is all about letting go of what doesn't serve you anymore, closing any circles, any unfinished business, just like wrapping things up so that you're ready to start fresh in the year 1 of your next cycle. What I really love about this concept is that you can do an exercise where you're looking back at your life retroactively and kind of match each year with each personal year number. So now that you know this concept, you can literally do the math, like calculate what what is your number this year? If your number was 3 this year in 2020, then in 2019 it must have been 2, and the year before it was 1, and the year before it was 9. So literally, like, I'll show you my notes on my phone where I wrote down each year of my life, corresponded it with the number, and then I started like taking notes. Okay, what happened that year? And then see if whatever happened that year fits the theme of that personal year cycle. So that is what's fun, because when I did this for myself, I found that things surprisingly matched the theme. Like my year 5 was so free and so fun. I lived in Pasadena, had the apartment with Wilson, and we just like traveled a lot. I don't know, it just seemed like a really fun year. And then year 6, I moved back home with my mom. It was a year of focusing more on family, on being responsible. And then year 7 was the year that I went to Bali. I did that like spiritual quest, healing my self-worth, those types of things. Oh, and I definitely need to mention that my year 1 was the year that I started Lavendaire. It was when I turned 23. That was my year 1. That was the year that I came out with my album, honestly, started Lavendaire. And I feel like, I don't know, just my life has followed these cycles, and I'm wrapping up whatever I started then, and I'm ready to become the next version. Clearly, I'm going into year 8, so I'm not completely done with the cycle, but I feel things changing. I know that by the time I start my next year 1, I'll be like a completely different person on a different level than who I was when I started year 1 at age 23. So if you do that exercise, let me know your thoughts. Let me know if these themes matched up for you, or if it didn't match up. Just let me know down below, because these are just fun tools that I discovered this year, and I'm like, hey, this is cool. I'm sure you'd be interested in it too. The next number that you guys definitely should know in numerology is called your life path number. And this number is simpler because it is just one number, but what it represents is your purpose in life, your overarching why you are here. To get to this number, all you do is add up all the digits of your birthday, including the year that you were born. You may end up with a 2-digit number, so in that case, you would add those 2 digits together to get to a single digit, and that single number is your life path number. So I'm not gonna go through all the life path details in this video because it would take a really long time, so I would just recommend you just Google search life path 5, life path, whatever your number is. And some people can get even more detailed because you can look up the single digit number, but some people, like, they have different meanings for the double digit numbers as well. So a resource that I recommend, one is a blog post that I'll link down below, but another is a book. So that book is called The Life You Were Born to Live by Dan Miller. I read this earlier in the year, and I really love how he really goes into a full chapter based on your life path 2-digit number. Another thing to note is that when you add up your birthday, if you get a repeating number, if it ends up to be 11, 22, or 33, in that case, those are called master numbers, and they're tied to a more spiritual purpose on this earth. So I think in those cases, they have a special meaning. You don't have to like add the digits together because they stand on their own. Another cool thing about your life path number is the number that you initially get after adding up all the digits of your birthday. Typically, it's like a 2-digit number, right? So whatever that number ends up being, that is the age that signifies a very big pivotal year for you. So my birthday, 10/21/1990, adds up to 23. So 23 was actually a pivotal year in my life. Again, it was the year that I started Lavendaire, and it happened to be my personal year 1. But yeah, it was a pivotal year in my life. So my life path number would be 5. So I could look up the meaning of life path number 5. But if I want to get even more detailed, I could look up 23/5. Google that, or look that up in the book, The Life You Were Born to Live by Dan Miller, and that's where I'd find the deeper insight into this life path. So let me know if you guys liked this concept. Again, comment your numbers down below, personal year number, life path number. If you did any of these exercises, like the retrospective cycles exercise, which I thought was really fun. Let me know how you feel about all this, and I will talk to you next time. Thank you. Bye. Thank you.